Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
It's 6:07. It's O'Connor and Company. Thank you for tuning in here on a busy Wednesday morning. Coming up at 6:35, Cal Thomas will be our guest. At 7:05, James Gagliano of the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund. 7:35, Byron York, Washington Examiner. And 8:05, Congressman Brandon Gill. We're going to talk about the hearing yesterday with Kash Patel, which we're going to get into right now. But also there was a hearing about how the government is controlling the weather. Okay, I might be overstating it a little bit, but it's a thing. And we're going to talk about that hearing, too. We love Brandon Gill. That's all coming up. It's Larry O'Connor flying solo this morning, sadly, because there was a bit of a family emergency there for Julie Gunn. She's fine, and the family's fine, but some mayhem going on her block in Alexandria that has rendered her incapable of coming into the studio and connecting with us. So we wish her well, and we miss her. That said, we've got plenty to get through here, just you and I, and we'll get through it. Let's start yesterday with the FBI director, Kash Patel. We knew this was going to be a fiery set of hearings, the Senate and House yesterday, I believe. And it started with the Senate. Adam Schiff, as you know, the backstory here is remarkable. So Kash Patel used to be the number one staffer for Devin Nunes on the House Select Committee on Intelligence when Devin Nunes was the chairman. Adam Schiff was the ranking member for the Democrats, right? And this was at the time when Devin Nunes was uncovering the FBI and the intelligence community's role in the deceptive hoax we know as Russian collusion. All of the things that has been revealed over the last several months by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, showing the emails and documentation of John Brennan and James Clapper and James Comey overlooking basic rules and protocol of intelligence and research and evidence, painting the picture that Vladimir Putin had successfully altered the outcome of the 2016 presidential election, and he did so to benefit his pal Donald Trump because he hated Hillary Clinton. That was fabricated. That was a lie, but that lie was put into the media and put into the national, international consciousness by those factors, by those people, at the direction of Barack Obama, Devin Nunes, and his chief lead counsel on that committee, Kash Patel, found all of that, uncovered all of that, and Adam Schiff that entire time lied about all of that. Kash knows where all of Adam Schiff's bodies are buried. And so now the FBI director, facing questioning from the Senate Judiciary Committee in their role of oversight over the FBI, was squared off with that very same Adam Schiff. And boy, oh boy, it did not take long for it to explode. Let's start with cut 10 here, Mr. Michael. Thank you.
The American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No. I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're not in
inmates.
the weeds?
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of California. We are bringing historic reform. Point of order. But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
you said I'm the most transparent FBI director in history. 33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Inject every drop of that directly into my veins. How cathartic. There's just something so cathartic about watching Kash Patel square off with Adam Schiff and deliver, say everything that we've all been yelling back at our own television screens for the last 10 years. It's just a beautiful thing. Honestly, it's beautiful. I can't add any more to it other than to just play it again.
The American people to believe that?
All right, maybe we shouldn't play it again. But in case you missed some of the gems there because of overlapping dialogue, Kash Patel, we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate in January 6th. You're the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You're a disgrace to this institution. So says the FBI director under questioning from Adam Schiff. He also said you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best. Oh, gosh, speaking of political buffoons, next came Cory Booker. This was just as good. Take a listen, cut 11.
That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my time.
I follow you on your social media posts that
it
tears this country apart.
To address your falsehoods.
You can try all you want
in this country.
To not take responsibility for what you have said.
Time.
Sir, you're making a mockery of this committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over. The people of New Jersey tell me what my time is. You can't lecture me.
You can tell me my time's over.
You may be the charge of the
I'm not going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman.
Not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Senator Booker, I announced at the beginning of this meeting that this back and forth talking over each other doesn't work. And I said if that happened, I asked Patel not to respond, and I was going to give him some time after the senator's time was up to respond. And he has the privilege to do that uninterrupted.
Mr. Chairman, one point of order.
Go ahead, Mr.
I've
Patel.
watched him talk over us, and you've never once criticized him for us not even being able to get our questions out.
Well,
he has been rude and disrespectful to senator after senator.
And when the senators were not giving him a chance to answer, I didn't stop the senator either. Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If the FBI, under my 7-month leadership, were failing this administration in this country, why do we have 23,000 violent felons arrested this year alone? A double increase from that time last year. Why is it that we have seized 6,000 weapons? Why have we found 1,500 child predators and arrested them? Why have we 300 human traffickers in jail?
All right, that was Chairman Grassley, by the way, trying to bring some order to it. And I love how whiny and how pathetic and how neutered Cory Booker sounds. Like, I don't remember you stopping him when he talked over us. And the whole point was he gets to respond to all of the fake allegations that were thrown his way. And there's more on this hearing because what did we say? We said buffoon, right? So we started with Adam Schiff, and then we moved on to Cory Booker. It doesn't get more buffoonish than that, does it? Oh, wait. Here comes Mazie Hirono. And Kash Patel was ready for her, too. This was beautiful. You'll hear it in a moment. First, though, it's 6:15.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Yeah, it was fiery. Kash Patel was loaded for bear and ready for them to come down on him like a ton of bricks. And, well, it didn't end well for the ton of bricks. Here's Mazie Hirono asking a very important question about a pull-up test. Apparently, FBI agents are asked to do a pull-up, one pull-up. And Mazie Hirono is very concerned that that's discriminatory. Take a listen.
You know, you've been asked some questions about changes to your hiring standard, and including college degrees and possibly the age. But, you know, one question I had is that you are now requiring applicants to be able to do a certain kind of pull-ups. which a lot of women cannot because of physiological differences. Are you requiring these kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring a physical program at BFTC at Quantico because FBI agents carrying guns in the field have to chase down bad guys and do really hard work. The physical fitness standards of those agents
are you requiring these kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring everybody to pass the 1811 standards at BFTC. If you want to chase down a bad guy and put him in handcuffs, you better be able to do a pull-up.
The reason I ask is that there are concerns about whether or not being able to do these kinds of harsh pull-ups is really required of FBI agents.
Doing one pull-up is not harsh, and there are always medical exemptions to that.
I am gravely concerned by the state of the FBI under your control. And in fact, you are willing to take a cut in your agency of almost $500 million. So the FBI is losing dedicated employees.
There's Mazie Hirono, because she's getting to the root of the real concern that all Americans are feeling here, that it's discriminatory to ask an FBI agent to perform a basic physical fitness test. By the way, if you're a woman, are you proud that you've got a senator standing up for you and trying to protect your right to be an FBI agent without having to pass a basic physical fitness test? Because I'll be honest with you, if you're worried about women, if a woman is going to be an FBI agent, you want to make sure that they can do pass some basic physical fitness. Otherwise, they're going to be in big trouble. And so will our society, because bad guys will be able to run roughshod over them. I'm sorry if you find that to be sexist. Oh, by the way, if you've noticed a very, very rich irony with a champion of trans rights like Mazie Hirono making the case that it's unfair to women to have them do a pull-up because women aren't capable of doing the same physical fitness feats that a man can do. You're not alone. And this was pointed out by one of her colleagues, Senator Katie Britt of Alabama. She took the mic, and take a listen to this, cut 13.
Well, before I begin, I want to thank Senator Hirono for what she said, acknowledging that there are physical differences between men and women, talking about that women wouldn't be able to do as many pull-ups, and I think that she was making a case here that there should be different standards. There's a thing called Title IX, and this is why we continue to say we should have biological men and men's sports and biological women and women's sports. And so I look forward to utilizing that to talk to all of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. Maybe they will stand with us in helping us protect women's sports. I think she made a great argument there for it. Moving on.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Trans women are women, and they should be able to compete. They have no actual physical advantage. When Leah Thomas had no real physical advantage when she was competing in the swim meet for the NCAA, even though when she competed as a man, she was ranked like number 400 something in the country. But then when she competed as a woman, she won gold medals. But she didn't have any physical advantage one way or the other. There is no difference. Trans women are women. By the way, the FBI is sexist for forcing women to have to do a pull-up because they're incapable of doing that. That's back to my statement that I made in the last hour. To contort your brain from basic reality and to have to say things like that. Again, it's very easy to say that Mazie Hirono is stupid. She might be in this case. But frankly, it doesn't matter what her IQ is, or what her basic level of wisdom is, what her education is. None of that matters, because you can be the smartest person in the world, but if you are forced to contort your brain to deny reality and say things like that, you're going to sound stupid. And that's the political left in this country right now. Trans women are men, but you can't say it. Men and women are biologically different. You can't say it. Unless you have to say it for your other ideological activist hat you have to put on to hammer Kash Patel for suggesting that women should meet basic physical standards if they're going to be in the FBI. And if none of that makes sense and none of it is consistent and none of it is logical, you're right. That's what we're getting from the political left in America today. One more quickly, Kash Patel with Dick Durbin, the aptly named Dick Durbin, cut 15. This is beautiful.
Stating there is no incriminating client list. Why was this July 7th memorandum unsigned?
Would you prefer I've used AutoPen?
Well, why was it unsigned?
The memorandum had the insignia of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
That's enough. That's just a beautiful moment. Why didn't you sign that memo? I guess I could have used AutoPen. 6:23. Quick clarification, by the way, there was only a Senate hearing with Kash Patel yesterday, not a House hearing, as well as I erroneously just said. See, Julie's not here today, and I'm just making mistake after mistake after mistake. Well, the mistakes continue. Coming up next with Cal Thomas. Keep it here. It's O'Connor and Company, 6:30.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. WMAL. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
6:37 here on this Wednesday morning. Thanks for tuning in to O'Connor and Company. Coming up at 7:05, James Gagliano. He is with the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund. 7:35 brings us the great Byron York of the Washington Examiner. And at 8:05, Representative Brandon Gill of Texas, who participated in a hearing yesterday about how the government is controlling the weather. I said it. And they are, actually, apparently. Can we get Trayon White in here to talk about that, too? Oh, no, that was the Rothschilds controlling the weather. That's a very different thing. Very different. All right. We will get into it. I'm joking about it only because it's funny. But it is true. There are scientific experiments going on with our weather that the government's involved in, and we should know about it. That's coming up at 8:05. All right, it's time for Cal Thomas. Good morning, Cal. What an intro for you, Cal Thomas, Syndicated
Columnist.
Thank
you very much, Larry. Now, I did notice that you called Byron York great, but you had no moniker for me. What am I, chop liver?
Oh, I had some modifiers when I was introducing you earlier in the program.
Oh,
Go back and
okay,
listen on the
well,
podcast. And
I should get up earlier. Thank you very much.
Effervescent, I think, is the one I like to use the most.
Oh, well, bubbly works too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cal, on a serious note, your column Monday really hit home with me, and I appreciate it, where you talk about the murder of Charlie Kirk, of course. And your summary here, obviously, it's very important what's happening in the way the media is covering this, and you're always very wise with that. And you basically say that the left can't hide anymore. The radical left cannot hide from the obvious violent nature that they have displayed, culminating in this assassination.
Yes, that's true. And, language, we were told, remember after the Oklahoma City bombing, the Democrats were, and even Bill Clinton, who went out there, were accusing Rush Limbaugh of using incendiary language.
Yes.
And Clinton said that language has consequences, and we needed to rein it in. Well, you're not hearing that so much anymore. You're hearing from the left that free speech is all that matters, and even the kind of violent speech that we've had might be condemned, but it shouldn't be banned. Listen, what we're seeing, Larry, is the consequences of the removal of all guardrails in our society. We don't teach right from wrong, good from bad. You look at the average entertainment on the networks at night and Netflix and some other places, it's all shoot-em-ups, it's blow-em-ups, killing people, women killing men so that they can claim equality now. And there is no sense of good and evil anymore except when we see it. And then we condemn it, but we don't condemn the things that led to it.
Yeah, well said. And you bring receipts, as you usually do in the columns here, including some examples of what happened in college campuses for people celebrating this horrific murder publicly. But there's another side of this coin, and that is, you're right, the left can't hide from and use whatever cover they had to cover up the evil nature of their violent rhetoric and the violent actions that people take inspired by that rhetoric. But something has changed with conservatives too. We're not taking it anymore. We're not trying to get along. We immediately jumped up and pointed out these atrocities, and people are losing their jobs. I feel like the conversation has turned on our side of this equation as well.
Well, it has, and this Washington Post columnist was fired for some of the things she said. Mm-hmm. I think that what Charlie Kirk emboldened was and represented was debate. Yes, vigorous debate. He would call people to the front who disagreed with him. This is the kind of thing that we used to celebrate. When I did college campuses in the 80s and the 90s, I'd get booed once in a while, but usually it was a civil debate, and once in a while I would go out with my debating opponent, who sometimes included the late Senator George McGovern and other liberals, and have dinner. Yeah. One guy said to me, "How can you eat with a man like that?" I said, "Because he's a friend of mine and a fellow American." Yeah. If we want to put people on the other side, let's make it North Korea, China, Iran, and terrorists. Lincoln said, he quoted from Scripture, and he said, "A house divided cannot stand." Right. We've got enough enemies on the outside. We shouldn't see each other as enemies.
Well, and I appreciate you in your column pointing out your old sparring partner on cable news, Bob Beckel, the late Bob Beckel, that they would set up as your bête noire. You two would go at it. But people didn't realize or know that you ended up becoming literally best friends. And I think that's a great allegory, I think, for where we could be, where we used to be, and where we should be headed. Quickly, yes. I just wanted to quickly pivot to Robert Redford because, we mentioned his death was announced yesterday during the program, and I'd love for you to sort of reflect on what an iconic movie star he was. He was an actor, but he was a movie star.
Yes, that's right, Larry, and he's the only man who I knew who was better looking than you.
Really? The only one? All right, I appreciate it.
Yeah, the only one, yeah. The neat thing about Robert Redford, everybody talks about his films, and they were great. I love The Natural because I'm a baseball fanatic, but he was a failure early in life. He couldn't hold a job. He even failed as a box boy. He got fired from that job. His father had to give him money because he didn't have any. He wasn't working. He wanted to be an artist before he wanted to be an actor, and even after he became an actor, he still thought being an artist, being drawing and painting were his thing. So I like people who overcome, who start out with failures and disappointments and keep at it and wind up being a major force like you on the radio.
Yeah, well, it's a great lesson for all of us to persevere and keep working and don't let initial failures define who you are. And Robert Redford certainly personified that. Cal Thomas, always a great conversation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Larry.
It's 6:43.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 till 9 on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
6:48 now, and as I mentioned before, Julie Gunlock not able to join us this morning, and she's having a rough morning out there with some crisis in Alexandria and some road closures, and she's unable to get to studio. We hope that she can join us at some point, hopefully, but a rough early morning, late night over there in her hood. Abigail Spanberger, early voting starts this Friday in the gubernatorial race. Abigail Spanberger, of course, has spent most of the last several weeks hiding from you, hiding from the issues, hiding from the media. She has yet to say anything about the boys in Loudoun County who have been expelled for being unhappy that a young girl, was in the boys' locker room. She has yet to say anything about all of the school systems in Northern Virginia who are allowing themselves to be cut off from federal funding for their schools because they are dead set against federal policy that defines men as men and women are women. She's denying the truth that boys are boys and girls are girls. She is hiding from her past policies and the past votes that would allow boys to be in girls' sports and girls' private spaces. She won't comment on any of that. She still hasn't commented on the story about a abortion in Fairfax County high school systems that were apparently covered up and facilitated by adults for minor girls. None of these things have risen to the level of comment from Abigail Spanberger. It's remarkable. She wants to be a governor, yet she's showing no leadership at all. But yesterday, finally, something rose to the level of Abigail Spanberger's attention, that she decided not to talk to the media, not to grace anybody with an interview and answer any questions. No, she did a selfie video for Instagram because she's really upset about something. Something's finally angered her and gotten her to say something. Here, take a listen. Cut 16.
Winsome Earl-Sears is this Friday. My opponent, Winsome Earl-Sears, is campaigning with Vivek Ramaswamy here in Virginia. If you know that name, but you can't remember why, it's because he was one of the chief architects of the DOGE effort. You know, that same effort that has led to thousands upon thousands of Virginians losing their job. Yes, she's bringing him here to help her campaign. My opponent has dismissed these attacks over and over again, calling it not a big deal that so many Virginians are losing their jobs.
That's enough. There you go. That's what she's finally exercised enough to make a comment about something, and it's Vivek Ramaswamy coming in for a campaign event because Doge. Meanwhile, by the way, listen, if we're going to start playing guilt by association with people who are affiliated with your campaign, Abigail Spanberger enjoys the endorsement of a school board member in Virginia who celebrated the assassination of Charlie Kirk. So, you pick your poison, Virginia. Who do you want to lead you? By the way, even CNN has finally sort of acknowledged Abigail Spanberger hiding from issues and hiding from facts. Take a listen to this from a column they wrote about the campaign. Spanberger has not answered whether she agrees that young people should be able to use any bathroom in a school building that corresponds with their gender identity, even if it doesn't correlate with their sex assigned at birth. She also has avoided getting into specifics when addressing transgender athletes' participation in women's sports. She has instead said that her priority is making sure Virginia kids are safe and supported, which, by the way, I love that. Is she suggesting that having a transgender individual in a locker room is in some way unsafe? Why, when asked about gender policies, does she immediately say kids should be safe? If you think that there's something unsafe here, I would love for you to expand on that, Abigail Spanberger. Give us details, but of course she won't. She's hiding. She continues to hide. She actually said something else. She doubled down on her policy of doing away with cooperating with ICE and instilling sanctuary policies in Virginia. We'll have that audio for you a little later in the program. There's no time right now. It is 6:52.